If you want to get motivated for millions in 2025, the first step is not about strategies, not about opportunities, and not even about discipline. The first step is redefining your vision of wealth, because motivation is not sustained by hype, it's sustained by clarity. And most people don't lack motivation. They lack a clear vision that pulls them forward with power. They think they want to be rich, but what they actually want is comfort or status or relief from financial stress. That's not wealth. That's reaction. Wealth is a vision you choose, not a reaction to what you don't like about your life. You see, the middle class often gets trapped because they confuse making more money with becoming wealthy. They think wealth is a bigger paycheck, a bigger house, or a better car. But here's the truth. If your vision of wealth is rooted only in consumption, you'll never build true wealth. Why? Because consumption without production always leads to lack. Wealth is not defined by what you own. It's defined by what you can create, sustain, and pass on. The wealthy know that money is only one layer of wealth. It's a tool, not the destination. So before 2025 runs away from you, you need to stop and ask yourself, what does wealth actually mean to me? Is it freedom? Is it impact? Is it the ability to retire your parents, send your kids to the best schools, or fund causes you care about? Is it the power to wake up every day and spend your time the way you choose? Because once you define that vision clearly, you create something worth pursuing. You create a picture that pulls you through setbacks, through distractions, through resistance. Without that vision, you'll chase opportunities, but you won't stick with them long enough to reap the rewards. Now, this is where most people fail. They think vision is optional. They think they can simply hustle harder, work longer, and somehow stumble into millions. But the hustle without a destination is just exhaustion. You don't build a skyscraper by stacking bricks randomly. You start with blueprints. Your financial life works the same way. When your vision is small, your motivation will always run out. But when your vision is great, it demands greatness from you. It fuels you when circumstances tell you to quit. Philosophically, this is the difference between desire and destiny. Desire is wanting something because it feels good in the moment. Destiny is pursuing something because it's aligned with who you were created to be. Millions in 2025 won't come because you wanted them. They'll come because you decided to align your daily moves with a vision that demands millions. That means your vision has to be bigger than the material. It has to connect with purpose. Otherwise, even if you get the money, you won't feel wealthy. You'll feel empty. And here's something practical. When you redefine your vision of wealth, you automatically redefine your standards. You stop asking, what can I afford right now, and start asking, what will create the future I desire? That shift alone changes how you spend, how you save, how you invest, and how you work. It changes the way you respond to opportunity because you're no longer operating from desperation. You're operating from direction. But don't miss this, your vision has to be personal. Too many people borrow other people's vision of wealth. They scroll through social media, see someone in a luxury car, and think, that's what I want. But what they don't realize is that if it doesn't align with your values, it won't motivate you for long. Real motivation comes when your vision of wealth is authentic to who you are. If your deepest value is freedom, then your wealth plan should focus on building passive income and flexible opportunities. If your deepest value is impact, then your wealth plan should focus on scaling businesses or investments that allow you to help others. Once you redefine wealth in this way, 2025 is no longer just another year. It becomes a runway. Every day, every opportunity, every challenge is seen through the lens of, how does this move me closer to my vision? And when you live with that kind of clarity, motivation stops being a feeling and becomes a force. You don't wake up hoping to be motivated. You wake up with a mission. So if you truly want millions in 2025, don't start with the money, start with the vision. Define it, write it down, make it vivid. See it so clearly that every distraction looks blurry in comparison. Because once you see wealth for what it truly is, not just money, but freedom, impact, and purpose, your daily moves will start aligning automatically. And when alignment meets consistency, motivation is no longer something you need to chase. It becomes something you live. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. If your vision isn't big enough to keep you moving when it gets hard, it's not a vision, it's a wish. Wishes don't build wealth, vision does. So redefine your vision of wealth in 2025 and let that clarity fuel your motivation until millions are not just possible, but inevitable. If you want millions in 2025, it won't happen by chance, and it certainly won't happen through occasional bursts of excitement or effort. Millions are built on the foundation daily focus. And here's the truth, focus is not just about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing it with intensity and consistency. The people who rise to the top in business and wealth and in influence are not the ones who scatter their energy in 100 directions. They are the ones who choose a direction, cut out the noise, and give themselves fully to what matters most. Most people mistake activity for progress. They stay busy all day, juggling tasks, chasing distractions, and filling their calendar with things that make them feel productive. But business is not business. Motion is not momentum. Focused, intentional execution is what creates results. Think about a magnifying glass. When it spreads sunlight across a page, nothing happens. But when it focuses that sunlight on a single point, the energy ignites a fire. Your potential works the same way. Unfocused effort scatters energy, but focused effort burns through obstacles. The middle class, for example, often works harder than the wealthy, but their work is unfocused. They switch goals too quickly. They chase every opportunity that looks shiny. They let distractions, social media, entertainment, gossip, rob them of time and energy that could be invested into wealth-building activities. Meanwhile, the wealthy understand that daily focus is the multiplier of success. They guard their attention as their most valuable asset because they know where attention goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, results grow. Now, here's where the psychological depth comes in. Focus is not just a matter of discipline, it's a matter of identity. If you see yourself as someone easily distracted, that's the standard you'll live by. But when you start to see yourself as a disciplined executor, someone who finishes what they start, your mind aligns with that identity. Every day becomes an opportunity to reinforce that self-image. And motivation grows not because you're chasing hype, but because you're becoming a person of focus. Philosophically, this shift is profound. Focus is the art of saying no. It's the wisdom to recognize that you cannot do everything and you don't need to. Wealth creation doesn't come from scattering seeds in every direction. It comes from planting deeply in fertile ground and nurturing those seeds daily until they bear fruit. The discipline of daily focus means you stop chasing distractions that dilute your energy and instead commit to the moves that compound over time. It's about depth, not breadth. Let's talk about what this looks like practically in 2025. Opportunities are everywhere. The rise of AI, digital platforms, global markets, and new industries means that possibilities are endless. But endless possibilities are not a blessing unless you have focus. They're a curse. Because without focus, you'll dabble in one thing today, another thing tomorrow, and never see the compounding results of consistent effort. The wealthy don't chase every opportunity. They select the right opportunity and then focus relentlessly until it pays off. But let's also address the reality. Focus isn't glamorous. It often feels boring. It's showing up to do the same things daily, long after the excitement wears off. It's resisting the urge to start something new every time your emotions waver. It's the patience to keep building brick by brick when no one else sees the vision yet. And that's why so few people ever master it. But here's the paradox. What feels boring in the moment is what creates extraordinary results over time. So the real question is, how do you cultivate daily focus? You start by defining clearly what matters most. Then you design your days around that. You eliminate what doesn't align. You build habits and systems that protect your attention. And you remind yourself constantly that the small things don't daily. With focus, create the big things everyone else envies. You don't get millions because you worked hard for 1 week or 1 month. You get millions because you focus for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, long enough for compounding to do its work. This is the truth most people don't want to hear. Focus will require sacrifice. You can't scroll endlessly, binge, watch endlessly, or jump from idea to idea and expect millions. You have to let go of what's urgent but unimportant and embrace what's important but doesn't give instant gratification. That's the test. But when you pass that test daily, your focus turns into momentum, and momentum turns into results that seem almost unfair to those who quit too soon. So if 2025 is the year you want to see millions, don't ask yourself, what should I do? Ask yourself, what should I stop doing? Don't ask, how do I get more motivated? Ask, what's the one thing I will focus on so consistently that motivation becomes irrelevant? Because true success is not built on motivation. It's built on momentum. And momentum is born from focus. Here's the closing thought I want to leave you with. Distraction is the enemy of wealth, and focus the weapon that destroys it. If you can master the discipline of daily focus in 2025, you won't just get closer to millions. You'll become the kind of person who cannot help but create them. Momentum is one of the most underrated forces in wealth creation, and yet it's one of the most powerful. If you want millions in 2025, you can't just rely on energy bursts, random wins, or sudden streaks of productivity. You have to learn to create momentum, to build it, and most importantly, to sustain it. Momentum is the invisible current that takes small actions and compounds them into extraordinary results. Without it, you'll find yourself starting over again and again, always hustling, always grinding, but never breaking through to the level of acceleration where success starts to feel effortless. Think about how a rocket ship works. The greatest energy isn't used in orbit, it's used in liftoff. The hardest part of wealth creation is that initial push, breaking through the gravitational pull of old habits, distractions, and mediocrity. But once you break through, once you establish momentum, everything shifts. Suddenly, opportunities start finding you, deals come easier, growth compounds, and your effort creates a multiplier effect. The wealthy understand this, which is why they focus less on how much they can accomplish in a single day and more on how they can create sustained forward movement over time. Momentum is built through consistency. One disciplined choice made repeatedly compounds into confidence, competence, and results. But here's the trap most people fall into. They confuse consistency with perfection. They think that one slip up means they've lost momentum. That's not true. Momentum is not destroyed by a single bad day. It's destroyed when you stop altogether. Wealthy thinkers don't let setbacks erase progress. They get back on track quickly because they know momentum is too valuable to let it slip away. Psychologically, momentum is about belief. Every time you take consistent action, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, disciplined, and worthy of success. That belief fuels motivation, and motivation fuels further action, creating a self-sustaining cycle. On the other hand, when you delay, procrastinate, or give up too soon, you reinforce doubt, and doubt kills momentum faster than failure ever could. That's why you see so many people start the year strong in January, full of goals and energy, but by March they're stuck again, because they never understood how to protect momentum. Philosophically, momentum teaches us something profound about wealth and life itself. Greatness is not achieved in giant leaps, but in accumulated steps. It's not the big deal you close once in a while. It's the pipeline you've built through consistent outreach. It's not the massive investment you make one time. It's the discipline of investing regularly and letting compounding do its work. Momentum is proof that the universe rewards persistence far more than it rewards intensity. Now, in the context of 2025, this is critical. We live in a world of speed and distractions. Opportunities are abundant, but so are distractions. The danger today is not that you don't have enough options. It's that you're tempted to keep switching before momentum builds. People quit the business before it takes off, abandon the strategy before it compounds, or pivot too quickly when results don't come instantly. The wealthy avoid that trap by protecting their momentum like it's their greatest asset, because it is. They know that momentum doesn't just make things easier, it makes things inevitable. But let's be clear, Momentum isn't magic. It has to be engineered. It starts with action, yes, but it continues with systems. Systems that remove friction, routines that make execution automatic, and disciplines that keep you moving forward even when emotions dip. For example, if you want financial momentum, you can't rely on occasional bursts of saving or investing. You need a system that ensures it happens consistently. If you want business momentum, you can't just work hard when you feel inspired. You need a structure that keeps progress happening regardless of mood. This is why momentum feels so powerful once it's established, because it reduces resistance. At first, you have to fight yourself to get started. But once momentum kicks in, it feels like success is carrying you forward. You still put in effort, but now the current is working with you instead of against you. This is why the wealthy often say success seems to attract more success. It's not luck, it's momentum. Here's the challenge I want to lay at your feet. In 2025, don't just think about what you're going to start. Think about what you're going to sustain. Anyone can start a business, a habit, or a strategy. Very few sustain long enough to build momentum. But if you can sustain, you'll separate yourself from the masses almost instantly. So if you want millions this year, remember this: wealth doesn't come from explosive moments of inspiration. It comes from consistent action sustained long enough for momentum to take over. The real power is not in what you do once. It's in what you do daily, weekly, monthly, until it compounds into something that seems unstoppable. Let me leave you with this closing thought. Momentum is the bridge between effort and ease, between discipline and destiny. Build it, protect it, sustain it. And 2025 won't just be another year. It will be the year where success shifts from something you chase to something that chases you. If you want millions in 2025, you cannot leave your growth to chance. You cannot simply hope that this will be your breakthrough year, because hope by itself is not a strategy. You must learn to anchor your life with systems, with accountability, and with habits that ensure forward progress no matter how you feel on a given day. Discipline will start you, momentum will carry you, but systems and accountability will guarantee that you finish. This is what separates those who rise temporarily from those who rise permanently. The wealthy do not rely on motivation to keep them moving. They rely on mechanisms. Motivation is emotional. It fluctuates. It depends on how you feel when you wake up, how circumstances unfold, or how much energy you have left at the end of the day. Systems, however, are structural. They don't care about your feelings. They are the guardrails that ensure your effort compounds even when your emotions waver. And accountability is the reinforcement that keeps you from drifting, that reminds you of the standard you committed to even when no one is watching. Think about it this way: if you were to run a marathon, would you depend on raw motivation to carry you mile after mile? No. You would depend on the training schedule that prepared your body, the pacing strategy that managed your energy, and perhaps the partner or coach running alongside you who wouldn't let you stop. Systems and accountability transform effort into endurance. That is what it takes to create wealth at a level that multiplies and sustains itself. Psychologically, systems are about removing friction. Human beings are naturally inclined toward ease. If something is difficult to begin or requires too much decision-making, resistance builds. That's why so many people have the intention to save money, but when payday comes, they rationalize spending instead. The wealthy avoid this trap by creating automatic systems, automatic transfers to investments, automatic structures for reinvesting profits, automatic routines that make progress non-negotiable. They understand that discipline, when turned into a system, doesn't drain you. It frees you. Accountability adds another layer. It aligns your personal integrity with external reinforcement. Alone, you can rationalize mediocrity. Alone, you can delay action, justify procrastination, or excuse inconsistency. But when you build accountability, whether through mentors, coaches, peers, or even public commitments, you create a standard outside of yourself. That standard becomes a mirror, reflecting back not who you say you are, but what you consistently do. This can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. Philosophically, this is about stewardship. If you believe wealth is entrusted to you for greater purposes than just consumption, then you also understand that you must steward it wisely. Stewardship demands accountability. It demands systems that don't just serve your desires, but also align with your responsibilities. When you anchor your life this way, you no longer chase wealth in desperation. You attract it through discipline. Here's the deeper truth. The wealthy are not necessarily more talented or even more intelligent than anyone else. What they have mastered is structure. They design their lives so that success is the natural outcome of their daily processes. They don't rise to the level of their ambition. They rise to the level of their systems. That is why some people, despite great talent, never break through financially. They lack the infrastructure to sustain growth. And that is why others who may appear ordinary accumulate extraordinary wealth. They built structures that supported their vision until it became reality. Now, in the context of 2025, this becomes even more urgent. We are in a world of infinite distractions. Social media, news cycles, opportunities pulling you in every direction. If you do not have systems, you will scatter your energy and dilute your power. If you do not have accountability, you will drift back into comfort the moment things get hard. But if you anchor yourself with both, you will create the environment where wealth is not just possible, it is predictable. This is why I tell people, design your year. Don't just set goals. Design the systems that will make those goals inevitable. Don't just make declarations. Establish accountability so that declarations turn into discipline. If you want millions, ask yourself, what structure am I putting in place so that even on my worst days, progress continues? Because that is the true test. Anybody can move forward when it's easy. The wealthy make sure they move forward even when it's hard. And here is the most empowering realization: once systems are built and accountability is embraced, wealth creation stops feeling like a fight. It becomes rhythm, it becomes flow. You no longer wrestle with yourself to take action. It's simply part of who you are and how your life is structured. That shift doesn't just change your income, it changes your identity. So let me close with this thought. Discipline starts the journey, momentum accelerates it, but systems and accountability guarantee you arrive. Don't rely on hope, don't depend on fleeting motivation. Build the scaffolding that makes wealth inevitable. Because when you anchor your life with the right structures, success is no longer a question of if. It becomes only a question of when.